Good afternoon and welcome to the program Moment, broadcast on Star Television. The program is coming to you live from our Media One Center at Mama Street, Brookfield. Today, as you can see, we are not in the studios, we are outside the studios. And the flags that you're seeing at the background will tell you exactly where we are if you're smart. But just in case, I don't want you to start pondering, let me welcome my guest on the program today, the High Commissioner to Sierra Leone for Nigeria, His Excellency Habis Bada. Welcome to the program, Moment, sir.
Thank you very much. You're most welcome.
I know you were here for the elections, and there were a lot of talk around that made everybody jittery about what would be the outcome of elections. How do you feel now that the election is over?
Thank you very much. You see, before the elections, there were a lot of pandemoniums, lot of social media messages of people calling for war. There's going to be a fight. There's going to be a bloodshed. Some people were even saying that likely the type of trouble that will be seen in this country will even be much more higher than the 11 years past war. Some of us were, of course, shivering because of that statement from the people around. A lot of our various countries, ambassadors, and other dignitaries from all over the world have been around, and people have been talking, singing the praise of peace, harmony, and oneness. I am very glad that the first election of the 7th March came, and we saw it as water was flowing, no noise. In fact, it was one of the things that made me very, very glad. Well, we had a runoff, and I went into the runoff. We're still preaching the peace. As the first election was done, we hope that the second one will be better. And of course, we witnessed it was very smooth. And what people were saying about the trouble couldn't come up. We saw the election was peaceful, transparent, and acceptable. I know that there are a lot of ingredients in politics. When you are in politics, there are certain things that people may envisage, but they are likely those things that could be waived, that they are not all that too serious. As it happens, after the election, after the announcement of the result, the city was peaceful. Only we found some little problem from the provinces, and that also is seen to have been controlled by the government of the day and the security agencies. So in fact, it is one of the peaceful situations I've found in this country at the moment.
So already, now that we have a government in place, you've been to State House to congratulate the president. What did you say to him?
Certainly, when I met the president-elect at the State House, he promised me that he is a president of all Sierra Leoneans and is going to take everybody along. He is not a president of a religious aspect He's not a president of tribal aspect, but president of the whole Sierra Leoneans. So he is not going to be biased.
Nigeria and Sierra Leone have enjoyed diplomatic ties dating back to the 60s. I think in 1961 when Sierra Leone gained independence. How has that relationship been since then?
Yeah, thank you very much. The relationship between Nigeria and Sierra Leone. Nigeria got her independence in 4th October 1960. Sierra Leone got her independence in 1961. Since that period, Nigeria has been playing the role of senior brotherhood with Sierra Leone. And from the look of things, if there's anything that happened in this country, Sierra Leone, you see that the first country to run for the safety, for the brotherhood is Nigeria. And Nigeria will come down in full force to say it, my brother, what is the problem? Calm down, calm your attention. I'm with you. I'm not running away from you. I'm your senior brother and I'll continue to be with you. Whatever pain you have, when you see me, wash away your pains. Since then, you can see from the time of this 11 years war, Nigeria, being a senior brother of the country, played a tremendous role by sending troops of army to this very country to ensure that the problem that is upcoming in this country is done away with. And what that you can even see witness that we have over 1,000 Nigerian soldiers that were buried in the military cemetery here in Sierra Leone. So that is to tell you that in the cemetery here, which is the military of the country, Nigerians are there. So we are still together. And a lot of others. Look at the issue of Ebola. When it came, people were running away, but Nigeria summoned that courage to run down here. In the name that they believe in a God, that nothing will happen. They will come and see what is happening and support the country with what is available to them to ensure that is put on hold. And of course, they came up with various donations, drugs, whatever. Fortunately, the Ebola came to hold. And just of recent, to say shortly about the past few months, not quite a year ago, mudslide. That was the period I was warming up to leave Nigeria as a country to come down here. The news from the office here to Nigeria was that this is what is happening. Before you know, Nigeria fly down here in up to 2-3 flights to come and sympathize with his own junior brothers. And they brought some relief materials, no what not. You see, that relationship is seriously on the increase. It's not diminishing, it's not decreasing. The relationship between Nigeria and Sierra Leone is on the increase, continuously, day and day, years by year. Going by, cementing more of the relationship, of course, is what we are talking about. The commission set up by the two countries, Joint Commission. And this second phase of the Joint Commission would have been held in Nigeria since 2014, but because of the Ebola epidemic, that was put on hold. Now that the Ebola epidemic have gone away, the issue of mudslide is gone away, Nigeria has sent a letter to the tourism department here, calling for arrangement towards that joint commission between Nigeria and Lagos, which will process that letter to the Minister of Department of Tourism here. Now, we are just waiting now to see whatever is the outcome of that letter, so that we send it back to Nigeria to swing into action. Because that relationship will seriously bring a very, very close, tight relation between Nigeria and Sierra Leone.
Nigeria and Sierra Leone, like you said, have enjoyed very, very fruitful discussions, relationship, and as a matter of fact, we almost share some cultural and traditional ties. Because if you look across Sierra Leone today, you will see a lot of Sierra Leoneans carrying Yoruba names or Nigerian names. Are you amazed with that?
Certainly, it is an issue that one have to look at it and be happy again, because it is an issue that will hardly die down. It will continue to emanate, to continue to produce, to give us continuously. Let me keep the issue of that Yoruba name first. I was made to understand when I was discussing with one Chinese friend. I say, I look at him as a Japanese. He said, no, he's a Chinese. And that Chinese is not really a Chinese. He is part of Chinese and he is part of Fulani. How comes? You see, his mother is a Fulani, a Sierra Leone, but the father is a Chinese. So he is 50-50 between Chinese and Fulani. So the people from Chinese have gotten uncles in Sierra Leone, have got, or somebody in Sierra Leone have gotten uncle in China. So the relationship will continue to grow. In fact, in terms of the Yoruba, as you are talking about, yesterday I was at the opening of this trade fair in the country. The mode of the greetings, the tribal greetings that were passed by the chairman of the occasion. He started with Ekaro. That is to tell you that the tribe of Yoruba in Sierra Leone is in good. And if you look from what I've been saying with some of our friends, they say their origin is from Abeokuta. Okay, if their origin is from Abeokuta and they are here, how will Abeokuta cease away from Sierra Leone? It will be difficult, because the people that are origin from Abeokuta will go to give birth here, and one day their people will go back to Abeokuta to say, please, I'm looking for so place. Where is the original house of so person? I am the son. So in that case, it is something very, very good that brings a lot of that relationship again in the cultural times. So in Sierra Leone, if you look at the Sierra Leoneans, you look at Nigeria, you hardly can differentiate who is a Sierra Leonean and who is a Nigerian. But we still agree that color were the same. and the cultural ties, we have almost the same culture. I witnessed one of the cultural display during the wedding of the past president daughter, Dr. Enesbai Koroma. When I look at the cultural dances within the sphere, I just laughed and I said, yes, the culture here, the masquerading, the rhythm of their band, the dancing modality, the modes, is the same thing with that of Nigeria. So I don't know who is a Nigerian and who is a Sierra Leonean. And I also said, we have similar names as you said, like that of Yoruba. Looking down to my own aspect of area, my grandmother that gave birth to my father, she is by name Kuroma. And my grandmother that gave birth to my own father, also, she is by name Kuroma. And here they bear Kuroma. So that is to tell you that this tied relationship we are talking about is not just maybe in a name, but there is that serious relationship between these two countries. And that is why you see that the relationship between Nigeria and Sierra Leone is much more ties than any other African and West Africa countries.
His Excellency Hadis Ubada, could you just recap on some of the finest moments the High Commission has enjoyed in Sierra Leone?
Yeah, certainly one of my finest moments in Sierra Leone is nothing but just about the past election. In fact, as I told you, I was almost in panicking that we are going to run away from this country because of the various pandemoniums, the various media publications, maybe some radios that don't even hold the station, saying this, a lot of these. Some of the social medias, as I listened to one of the social media video that if one of the party won this election, there is going to be a war in this country, and the war will last more than the last civil war. So, well, as God will make it, God is under control of everything. It is said, popularly said, that man proposed, God imposed. But what people proposed, God disagreed. That will not happen within this period because Sierra Leone has tested a hard time, and God wouldn't want that time again to resurface in Sierra Leone. And you can see that the election, all the two elections came very peacefully, and everything went smooth. That in fact, it is one of the periods that I have been very happy and having a very soft mind in this country.
His Excellency, just before we go away, what message would you like to leave first your fellow citizens in Sierra Leone, the Nigerians living in Sierra Leone, and also to the people of Sierra Leone?
Thank you very much. So far, so good. This one, a discussion. The message I have for the Nigerians in diaspora, that is Nigerians community in Sierra Leone. Before the election, I drew their attention and I summoned all of them to come to the mission here. When they came, I told them that they should be very careful. If there is any one of them that is eligible voter, go and cast your vote to whomever you want, then go back home and sit down. Don't involve yourself in any of the fracas, that is quarreling, fighting, maybe hate speeches. I wouldn't want that. Fortunately, up to the beginning of the election to the end, I have not had anything about a Nigerian who was involved in some kind of unwanted activities during and after the election. In fact, I was very, very overwhelmed in that aspect, that I am a small boy, but they all listened to my advice and they went by it. I am also happy with them. After the election, of course, I also called and thanked them for behaving the way I wanted. And that is very interesting. Now, back to Sierra Leoneans. Before the elections, we passed messages of peace, harmony, and tranquility to Sierra Leoneans. Not once, not twice, not thrice. And possibly even on one-on-one discussion with various people to maintain peace. Because politics is not the one holding us. We are the one holding the politics. And I said, for you to be a politician, take into consideration the Sierra Leonean first. After Sierra Leonean, you take the Sierra Leone first, then take yourself to be the second. Politics is the third one. So I will want all of us to embrace peace and remain one. Let us not fight. I told them the two contenders, the SLPP and the APC, they are all Sierra Leoneans. And whoever wins remains here. Whoever loses remains here. Then what are you quarreling for? They say popularly that there is no permanent enmity in politics. Because today, tomorrow, you will see Mr. Samora Kamara and Madam, you will see in the same political party. Then what are you even fighting for? They will leave you by the side. So everybody, every Sierra Leonean should embrace peace and let us remain in peace so that we'll perceive development to come to the country. Where there is no peace, you hardly can achieve development. So that is my message to Sierra Leoneans, boys, girls, women and men. Thank you very much.
I just want to thank you very much, His Excellency, the Nigerian High Commissioner to Sierra Leone, Habib Subada, for having me on the program Moment today. And I just want to leave Sierra Leoneans watching the program and non-Sierra Leoneans who are watching the program that you've given them a good advice, and we should remain or strictly go with that advice. Let us preach peace, embrace ourselves, and let's forge ahead. By not embracing peace, you are going to bring chaos in society, and that won't take Sierra Leone anywhere. Thank you so much again, His Excellency High Commissioner to Nigeria, Habib Subada. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You are most welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Yeah. We're now taking a short break, and when we come back, Moment will continue.